Like, so many people I've seen get jobs because of who they know, not necessarily their qualifications
or what they look like.
Or what they look like. Looks do go a long way. People who are attractive or conventionally attractive do get a certain privilege in certain spaces and areas.
Yeah.
So it's like when you are that person, like Carlos or Los was saying, it's just kind of like
That's caramel.
Yeah, that's,
Caramel.
I'm not saying that. I ain't saying that, but
right there, loose.
I'm not saying that. But okay, when you do get see, y'all made me forget my thought. Oh my God, yo!
No, but it's just because I'm thinking of some cupcakes
Wait.
right now. And caramel just came to my mind. A caramel chocolate cupcake.
What was the point you made?
Nah, but if you condone that, hold on, you talking about Trey?
No, you said something, and I was about to go into that.
Oh, okay. I was just talking about when it comes to you standing up for yourself and having a backbone and actually,
that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
When you become that person that stands alone and have your own backbone and you kind of step out and you go against the grain knowing that you're going to get blackballed, it creates a life that's very difficult. For example, remember when they put the black fist up at that track meet thing or that Olympics or whatever? Mm-hmm. There was I learned this. You know what I'm talking
NFL?
about? Yeah. It was years ago.
The Olympics, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was 3 guys standing on the thing. It was 2 black guys that had their fist up.
Yeah.
And then there was a white guy that had his fist up.
It's one of the most iconic and powerful images in both Olympic and American history.
They threatened my life as they've threatened many of our lives.
American sprinters John Carlos and Tommy Smith standing side by side on the medal podium, heads bowed and fists raised in the air during the national anthem in the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City.
The intent was for humanity. At that particular time in the 60s, man, we had a lot of unrest going throughout the nation. I think we were tired of a lot of the same things that we're tired of today. And we started wondering, what role can we play? What can we do to bring attention to the plight of blacks and people of color here in the United States and throughout the world for that matter? Possibly we can send a message to society and let them know that although we love America, it appears that America haven't shown the same love in return.
Carlos tells me both he and Smith qualified for the Olympic team in spite of U.S. officials doing everything possible to hinder their performance.
They came against me in terms of taking the world record away that I ran, or changing the time that I ran, and so forth like that.
Center of the field is Tommy Smith running through.
After placing first and third in the 200-meter final, the pair began to search for symbolic items to wear during the medal ceremony. They found the now famous black gloves, but many people are unaware they didn't stop there.
The black scarf that Tommy Smith had on his neck exemplified black pride. The beads that I had on my neck exemplified the agony and tragedy of lynchings that had taken place throughout the United States history. The black jersey that I had on that covered up my USA jersey was to show my shame for America.
If you look closely, you can see the pair wore black socks with no shoes to represent black poverty.
And then, of course, the black glove was to show black unity.
Carlos says the strong and decisive action led to countless death threats, but not an ounce of regret.
Once the precedent is set, you can take my life 1,000 times, but you can never erase that precedent.
In solidarity with them. Now, he stood against the grain, but then if you look at what happened to him, he basically lost his career in order to go against the grain and stand up for what was right.
In 1968, Peter Norman was competing for Australia at the Olympics in Mexico City. As the gold and bronze winners from the US staged a so-called Black Power salute on the podium, Peter said he would stand by them wearing a human rights badge. Now, the move cost him his career and his reputation, but it won him 2 friends for the rest of his life.
So then it makes you ask yourself, is this worth it? Because if I go against the grain, who's going to back me up and support me when times get hard for me? Because even Colin Kaepernick, for example, right?
Oh, yeah.
He went against the grain.
Now everybody kneeling.
And then did he really get the support that he deserves for going against the grain for so many people who said he was right in the situation? Is it worth it? That's the question I want to ask.
Okay, so in that situation, and it still kind of even correlates with the Carrie Hilson thing,
Yeah,
right?
that's what happened to her.
Because what happened in the Colin Kaepernick situation is, like you said, he took that stance he did have some support.
support
However,
you.
the problem was the people who were against him had more power and more leverage and more exposure. And, so they can move behind the scenes and twist the narrative to make it look like he's the villain.